I was standing in the parking lot staring at the empty space where my BMW used to be. 3 weeks ago, my grandpa handed me the keys to that car right after I graduated college. It was the most meaningful gift I had ever received because he had promised me that car for years. But now, it was gone. My mom looked at me with this cold smile and said, "That BMW belongs to his sister now." I could not believe what I was hearing. What my grandpa did next changed everything I thought I knew about family. Before we dive into what happened, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. If you are enjoying this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You will not believe how this situation unfolded and how my grandpa handled it. Trust me, you need to hear this until the very end, because what happened next made me truly proud of him. My relationship with Grandpa Walter was always special. He became like a second father to me after my dad passed away when I was 12 years old. Those were dark times for our family, but Grandpa stepped in without hesitation. He taught me how to fix cars, throw a baseball, and handle life's challenges with dignity. Every Saturday, we would spend hours in his garage working on that silver BMW. It was a 2018 model that he had owned for 20 years, and he kept it in pristine condition. He would always tell me the same thing while we worked. "When you graduate college, this car is yours. You earned it." Those words meant everything to me. They gave me motivation during the tough semesters, the late-night study sessions, and the moments when I wanted to give up. That BMW represented more than just a vehicle. It was a promise between us, a symbol of hard work and dedication. My family situation was complicated, though. My mom, Diane, remarried when I was 14. Her new husband, Douglas, was a decent man who worked in sales and traveled frequently. He had a daughter from his previous marriage named Amber, who was 19 years old. Amber lived with her biological mother in a city 2 hours away and only visited us every 3 months or so. We were never close. Our interactions were limited to polite hellos and small talk at family dinners. There was no hostility, but there was no real connection either. My mom always tried to create this picture-perfect blended family. She would plan elaborate holiday gatherings and insist we all participate in family game nights when Amber visited. But I could sense something underneath it all. Mom seemed to favor Amber in subtle ways. She would buy her expensive gifts when she visited, while reminding me that I needed to save my own money for things I wanted. She would rearrange her schedule to accommodate Amber's visits, but often missed my college events because of work commitments. The day I graduated was one of the proudest moments of my life. I walked across that stage with a degree in mechanical engineering and a grade point average of 3.7. Grandpa Walter was in the front row, cheering louder than anyone else. Mom and Douglas were there too, clapping politely. After the ceremony, Grandpa pulled me aside and led me to the parking lot. His eyes were wet with tears as he placed the BMW keys in my palm. "You made your dad proud up there in heaven, kid. This is yours now," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. I wrapped my arms around him and held on tight. I could not find the words to express what that moment meant to me. He handed me a folder containing all the paperwork. The title was already transferred to my name, Sherman Davidson. Everything was legal and official. The car was mine. Mom's reaction was strange. She congratulated me, but her voice sounded hollow and forced. "Do not forget to thank your grandpa properly," she said, as if I had not just spent the last 10 minutes hugging him and thanking him repeatedly. Douglas offered a quick handshake and a "good job, buddy," before checking his phone. I felt a weird tension in the air, but I was too happy to dwell on it. The first week with the BMW was incredible. I drove it to my internship at a local engineering firm every morning. I washed and waxed it every Sunday, just like Grandpa taught me. I called him every evening to share stories about my day and thank him again. The car ran smoothly, the leather seats still had that new car smell, and I felt a sense of freedom and adulthood that I had never experienced before. Then Amber came back. She showed up at the house unexpectedly one Tuesday evening, saying she was just visiting for a few days. I came home from work to find her standing in the driveway, circling the BMW like a predator sizing up prey. Her eyes were locked on the car, and I could see the hunger in her expression. "So, Grandpa Walter just gave you this. Must be nice being the favorite grandkid," she said when she noticed me approaching. Her tone was dripping with resentment. I tried to explain that it was not about favoritism. The car was a reward for graduating and a promise Grandpa had made years ago. I told her he had been planning this for a long time. Amber just rolled her eyes, muttered something under her breath, and walked away. That night, I could not sleep. Something felt wrong. Around midnight, I got up to get water and heard voices coming from the kitchen. Mom and Douglas were having a conversation, and they were not trying to be quiet. Walter always spoils Sherman. "What about Amber? She needs a car too," Mom said. Her voice had an edge to it that I rarely heard. Douglas responded, "Maybe we should talk to him about it. That car should stay in the family for everyone to use, not just Sherman," Mom continued. I stood frozen in the hallway, my heart pounding. They were talking about my car, the car that was legally mine, like it was a family asset to be distributed at their discretion. I went back to my room without getting the water, feeling sick to my stomach. 3 days later, the real trouble started. Mom called me down to the living room where Amber and Douglas were already sitting. The setup felt like an intervention. Mom did not waste any time. "Sherman Amber needs to borrow the BMW for a few days. She has job interviews downtown," Mom announced. It was not a question. It was a statement presented as if it were already decided. I hesitated. "I need the car for work, Mom. I cannot just give it away." "You can take the bus. This is important for your sister's future," she shot back. The way she emphasized sister felt deliberate, like she was reminding me of some obligation I owed. Douglas jumped in. "Come on, Sherman. It is just a few days. Family helps family, right?" I felt trapped. Every instinct told me to refuse, but I did not want to be the selfish one, the bad guy who would not help his stepsister. Against my better judgment, I handed over the keys to Amber. She snatched them from my hand with a smile that did not reach her eyes. "Thanks, big brother. I will take good care of it," she said sweetly, but something about her tone made my skin crawl. The next morning, I took the bus to work. What used to be a 20-minute drive turned into an hour and 10-minute ordeal, involving 2 transfers and a 15-minute walk from the last stop. I arrived sweaty and frustrated. During my lunch break, I called Grandpa and told him what happened. His response was immediate and fierce. "That is your car, Sherman. Legally and rightfully yours. Do not let anyone push you around." His anger on my behalf made me feel validated but also more conflicted. I did not want to cause family drama, but I also felt like I was being taken advantage of. Every time I asked about getting the car back, Amber had a new excuse. "Just one more interview. I need to visit a friend across town. The weather is bad for taking the bus." Each excuse felt flimsy and insulting, but Mom always backed her up. "Do not be selfish, Sherman. Amber is trying to build her life," Mom would say whenever I brought it up. It was a Friday night, and I was scrolling through social media before bed. Amber had posted a photo 2 hours earlier. She was at the beach with 3 friends, all of them posing in front of my BMW. The caption read, "Beach day with my new ride." 3 laughing emojis, 37 likes. My blood ran cold. There were no job interviews. There never had been. Amber was using my car as her personal toy while I suffered through public transportation every single day. I took a screenshot and immediately sent it to my mom with a simple message: "This needs to stop now." Mom's response came 10 minutes later. "So what? She is young and needs to enjoy life too. Stop being so uptight about a car." I read that message 5 times, unable to process it. My own mother was defending someone who had lied to my face and was joyriding in my vehicle. I typed out a response demanding the car back immediately, my hands shaking with anger. Mom replied that she would talk to Amber, but her tone suggested I was overreacting. I barely slept that night, alternating between fury and heartbreak. 2 days later, I woke up early. Amber had supposedly returned home late the previous night, and she claimed she would return the car in the morning. I got dressed quickly and went outside to check. The parking spot was empty. My BMW was gone again. I called Amber. No answer. I called again, straight to voicemail. Panic and rage flooded through me as I dialed Mom's number. She answered on the 4th ring, sounding annoyed. "What is it, Sherman? It is 7 in the morning. Where is my car?" Amber took it again without asking. I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "We need to talk," she replied and hung up. I threw on shoes and rushed down to the living room. Mom and Douglas were already there, standing side by side like a united front. Something about their posture told me this was not going to be a simple conversation. "Where is my car?" I repeated. It was not a warm smile or even an apologetic one. It was cold and final. "That BMW belongs to his sister now," she said calmly, as if she were commenting on the weather. The words hit me like a physical blow. "What? That is my car. Grandpa gave it to Emmy. My name is on the title. Amber needs it more than you do. She does not have a degree or a stable job like you. You can get another car later," Mom continued, her tone suggesting this was perfectly reasonable. Douglas stepped forward. "We already talked to Amber. She is keeping it. The title can be transferred. We will handle the paperwork." I could not breathe. My vision blurred at the edges. "You cannot do that. It is legally mine. Grandpa will never forgive you for this." Mom's expression hardened. "Walter is old and does not understand modern family dynamics. This is what is fair for everyone. You have had enough advantages in life, Sherman. Time to share." That word "share" coming from her mouth felt like poison. I was not being asked to share. I was being robbed by my own family, and they were acting like I was the problem for objecting. I could not stand to be in that room another second. I turned and ran up to my room, slamming the door behind me.